Hello everybody, this is Simon with Let's Play Mega Man Quartum. On the menu today is Ringman stage, which gave me no end of trouble. Mostly though because I am absolutely terrible at staying consistent and not falling into holes all the fucking time, and because I really do hate the boss and I cannot deal with him, even though he is one of the most patronized of them all, maybe because of that. Really though, the stage is pretty damn well designed, as we're going to see in every single aspect of it more or less. This here, for example, is a neat introduction to the cannons, as it is placed perfectly to not hit you, and you can also explore the gimmick of the level, the striped and white, as we're going to see later on, platforms. And you can also see that Rain Flush destroys these cannons, so you can totally book it on that screen. We're also going to see the past screens, except for the ladder climbing part and the next one, being repeated 2 more times in this level. But it is not just a copy-paste of the room, because the enemy placement is going to be different all the time, which makes for a very interesting and varied challenge, which I'm going to invalidate complete with Rain Flush. Evil me. But really, I do think that it is very nice that they could copy-paste the room and still have it remain fresh all the time. And I do think it works really well, especially because you have a lot of sections that are just going left to right, which do avoid repetition. This trap should be familiar to all of you who have played or seen the NES game, but it's going to come back later with a twist. Look forward to that. The gimmick is in full swing, of course, and it is getting varied already, with the beams getting mixed up a lot, some striped, some white. It is all very nice, and we've got the first repetition of the first room, which is, I guess, copy-pasted, but you come in from another angle. Of course, that makes it very different. And this one here we can see again, if you only work with the bust, you have to wait for the ringer and not go up as fast as possible to avoid the cannon as in the first iteration. Very interesting, as I think. Here we are forced to work with the gimmick and not against it, because we have to fall here, something the NES stage did a little, but not really. Of course we cannot see big rooms where there are tons of beams and you have to quickly think in the Game Boy stage, but they can really work with the limitation, I think, and the entire stage shows how well they explore an entire gimmick very thoroughly and without it ever getting stale. We can also see that Pharaoh Shot is of course a very good weapon, because you can just keep it charged up and it will never deplete the weapon energy actually. If it hits things while it's above your head, you can just hold the button down and the weapon energy will not go down, which is very broken, and I do think I show it off enough. It is also really powerful and destroys most things in just 1 or 2 shots. Generally as strong as a triple buster shot, and even more so against many enemies like the cannons, which would normally take 5 shots to kill. This is a nice little tutorial that you should not just go up every ladder as quickly as possible, in this stage especially. We're going to see why at the end of it. For now though, a little boredom, a mini section in the middle, which I really hate, because these ring mini bosses are the absolute worst. They have no threat potential, you can literally just stand here and this guy will never hit you, and it's just playing the dumb and boring waiting game, which pisses me off quite a lot, actually. Second iteration of the same trap, but it's just lulling you into a false sense of security. Not for this guy, however. He can actually hit you at the left part, which necessitates a little more thinking than complete brain death, but at least he's gone quickly, so I do not mind too much. However, getting hit here is kind of haha! You thought this trap was gone with 2 iterations at the same time, right? No, it's the rule of 3 in this stage. Yeah. But getting hit here is actually kind of a problem, because there are no more health pickups and the boss is an asshole. As said, this cannon is also placed really evilly. You might not expect it from the first time you saw this room, but it can easily knock you off the pillar. Fortunately enough, if you know what you're doing, you can goad it into always shooting away from you. Last iteration of this room in it is the hardest of them, because obviously 2 cannons to avoid. When you're just climbing upwards and you will always be in the line of fire from one of them is kind of a nasty challenge, especially considering that, as said, you have no more opportunities for health pickups and the end can be quite nasty, and it is the hardest boss in my opinion. Oh hey, who do we have here? This is why you should not go up ladders quickly, or rather react very fast if you do so. It is very nasty trap at the end, as said, because the boss, again, I cannot stress this enough, is kind of an asshole. The big problem with Ringman here is, of course, he is back to his old tricks. He will fire to you, then he jumps up and shoots downward. This is something we have seen before, but now that we have a buster that kicks you back a little, you cannot easily do the same tactic as you've always used before, because this little kickback can seriously throw off your dodging timing. You have to really think carefully about what you're doing, and it took me quite a while to figure out this strategy, which always works, of course, because he is very heavily patternized. But this was not always the case. All of these are from failed recordings where I've done the entire stage and then just to fail at the end at the boss. It's kind of embarrassing. So you can see you can dodge him when you go into the corner, but it is not guaranteed. You really should jump over it towards him and then over him again. And of course, as I said, if you keep using charge shots willy-nilly, then you will get hit quite a lot. And dodging with a slide and then a jump is also a crapshoot from his ground floor attack, and he can also use that upwards, so yeah, it is quite a tricky boss, which will absolutely murder you if you do not work with the pattern in a very specific way. As you can see here, the last hit definitely could not dodge because of the kickback, could not slide away in time, and this was very painful because, yeah, he should have died here. So you can see here, and in the last time you will see the boss, you can kind of damage race him, but it is a crapshoot and I would not advise it. It is very easy to get yourself cornered too in that manner. You really have to do the pattern very specifically, and then I'm terrible at it. And if you try to jump away, as you can see, he will very easily nick you with his diagonally upward fired shots. The odds are very much stacked against you, especially as you have far less room to dodge in the Game Boy game. The kickback, as I said, does not help at all. This is, by the way, a fight you can expect me to win. Again, it will be very close because of stupid mistakes like that. It shows that you can probably damage race him a little if you dodge sometimes, and if you can time your Mercy invincibility with the kickback, which then will not impede you, of course. But I would not advise for it. And if you get hit in the last part of the stage, of course damage racing is completely out of the question, so you should maybe get an E-Tank ready and do not take this stage first. Just a casual and friendly word of advice, maybe. However, we do get a very nice weapon for finishing him. Ring Boomerang is of course just a dumbfire forward weapon as it was in Mega Man 4, but it does have a very neat extra addition which we are going to explore next time we see it. For now, however, I'm glad this is over, and thank you very much for your attention.